Welcome back to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast. And in case you're just joining us, you're listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast with Emmy, Hikins, and Trevor.
As we've said before, previous podcasts, we just move our arms that are like that. And we don't think about the huge, complex mechanism that's going on beneath the surface. A bit like a cruise ship, a massive ship, and it's chugging along over the sea, and underneath the turbines are going 15 to the dozen. Great complexity of engineering. So we try to understand these things. And before I say to you, or ask you whether you think we have a soul, cuz, I'd be interested in your view on that. Let's just say an example. Now, I've heard it on good authority that you like pillow talk. Well, I haven't actually heard that on good authority. I just made that up to create a sort of a scenario. But let's say you do like pillow talk. You're laying there with your loved one on the pillow, and she's not whispering to you, but in lovely, lovely dulcet tones, saying some poetry to you, some love poetry, and you're lapping this up. It's wonderful. She's saying wonderful things to you, and life has never been so good. So you decide, thinking, well, actually, I'd like to know what the mechanics behind what she's saying to me and how she's talking are. So you grab from the bedside, you happen to have there a medical scope, like an endoscope thing. You keep it on your bedside cabinet, don't you, with a little camera at the top. And while she's talking with this poetry, you put it down her throat, right? You put it down her throat, and then you watch as she's talking with a lovely tone of voice. And you see her vocal cords, and they're slimy, they're shiny, and you watch as they contract in and out in a spasm. And somehow this is generating this incredibly beautiful voice, incredible, beautiful words of poetry. Now, you may be sort of really entranced watching this, but I guess after a fairly short while, you're going to feel a bit sick. You're going to feel a bit nauseous because it's not altogether lovely and romantic watching these vocal cords doing their business. And so, although that's a ridiculous example, the fact is, were you able to do that? That's what we would see, that the actual mechanics of the vocal cords doing what they do. But all we know is we hear someone talk, or we talk ourselves, and that's the end product. But it doesn't help us, even if we know how it may work, it doesn't help us to decide whether it's all this mechanism, this physical, biological mechanism that produces everything about us, our personalities, everything, as we said before. We don't really know that. So, just to say as well, we don't really do religion or politics on our podcast because we don't like to be controversial. Inevitably, perhaps if we're talking about something like a soul, you may feel that there's a slight overlap with religion, but that's not the thrust of what we're trying to say here. We're simply trying to say, do we have something, we call it a soul, that sits alongside our physical being somewhere inside us, and that ultimately is also, or mainly, responsible for the good that we do, the decency, the things that we are, rather than just this mechanism of physical biology. It's worth saying that when they research these things, which they do quite regularly, a majority of people on the planet believe we have a soul, which is quite an interesting thought. And a majority of neuroscientists, not everyone, but a majority, don't believe we have a soul. Now, there's not really evidence for or against having a soul, but if anything, a neuroscientist would say, well, we see the mechanics of what is happening, and therefore we don't really believe there is such a thing as a soul. So with all that in mind, and bearing in mind your pillow talk, cuz, let me have your view. What do you think? Do you think we have a soul, or are we just a physical being?
Yeah, just before I get to that, you got me in a really nice romantic mood, and I'm thinking, woo, I'm gonna get.
I soon got rid of that, didn't
I? and then you just slapped me down. You just dropped me from a height.
Well, that's the reality, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, go on.
So anyway, yeah. So do we have a soul? I think some people would take it further, wouldn't they? So some people would say we have three things in our body. They would say the soul, the spirit, and the body. Some people would go that far. And some people would just stop short at a soul and a spirit. And some people would say, well, hang on a minute, do we really have a spirit? I think it's just the body and the soul is the spirit. However, the simple analogy that I go with is this. So you've got an electronic device, right? On its own, it's rubbish. But when you power it on via battery or you pass some electrical current into it, then it comes alive, don't it? Be it a fan, television, whatever. Now,
we're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show with Trevor Gear and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deepstuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deepstuff Radio Facebook page. Thank you.